time, we'll be taking a look at the Warpath from the Warpath Deadpool Fans Choice 2-pack set. A write-up for both of them, and statistics for each one. We have here Warpath, or James Proudstar, in his X-Force, current X-Force suit. And the X-Force team is been revamped into a Strike Force team, basically made up of those X-Men who are have less compunctions about killing people to remove threats. They were expressly created to eliminate the anti-mutant purifiers. James Proudstar makes his first appearance in New Mutants number 16, and he does that all the way back in 1984. He's got a very nice sculpt. He's pretty massive, even for a big guy. I really like the head sculpt. With his hair, it really doesn't get in the way of his posability. My main trouble with the figure is, you can see it kind of coming in and out there, is that there's a gap here, a pretty big gap when between the chest and lower torso. Everything else I do like. Again, he's big, brawny, and really serious looking. Wouldn't want to mess with this guy. I do think that this is a reuse of the Crossbones body from a previous wave. I'm not sure. I don't have Crossbones to make a side-by-side comparison. From pictures, I think they're pretty close. They at least used him as a starting point to do this figure. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like the gap in the chest there that you can see every time there's light behind him. The paint job is pretty good. I do like this bluish, silvery, shiny highlights on the costume. I didn't think I would, but it does look pretty cool. Now, this is the standard version of the figure. There's a variant in his, I'd say, classic look costume, which was based more on his brother's Thunderbird costume. He does have two accessories, two knives, and these are vibranium knives made out of vibranium. I believe they were a gift from Storm and the Black Panther, of course. Now, I don't know if his vibranium knives survived the recent vibranium purge in the Marvel Universe, so he may have gotten new knives. On his belt, this cool little feature where you can stick his knives into. I don't know if they go that way, or they seem to sit in better the other way. I think they sit in better this way. He can store his knives there until he's ready to use them. So that's pretty cool. Now the knives, they don't exactly fit in. He doesn't exactly hold them so much as the guards help them clip into place, which is kind of unfortunate. But it's nice that they're there to give that extra hold on his hands. For articulation, up and down, side to side, like I said before, the hair doesn't really get in the way. His arms do go all the way around and out. They rotate at the bicep, bend at the elbow, and they rotate at the upper forearm. You know, I really don't like that. I wish they could have given him the more standard ball joint here, so you could have him bend his wrist in and out as well as rotate. He's got really wide upper torso articulation there. Goes pretty far back as well as pretty far forward. Waist articulation. Hips swivel, go out and in. Swivel at the upper thigh. Double knee joints, although they're so big here, the thighs and calf there, that it doesn't really work too well. They could have gotten away with a single joint there, I think. His ankle bends, as well as there's a slight pivot to it. And I'm wondering why they gave this guy a pivot and the Hulk doesn't get one. It's nice that they did it, but there's the pretty useless toe articulation. He has a brother, and they were both born on an Apache reservation in Camp Verde, Arizona. And his older brother, John, he always looked up to his older brother, and was kind of upset when he left first to go into the army, and then later as part of the new X-Men. John had his own problems. He was kind of a hothead and didn't want to listen to anybody, and that led to his death on the X-Men's second mission, and he blamed Professor X for his brother's death. He was then recruited by Emma Frost as part of the Hellfire Club's Hellions, their answer to the X-Men or New Mutants. He did join them in an attempt to murder Professor X, but found out that he just couldn't do it when the time came. Having this change of heart, Professor X offered him a spot on the New Mutants, which he refused, and he returned with the Hellions to the Massachusetts Academy. He left the Massachusetts Academy and returned home. And upon a quick trip outside of the reservation, he returned to find his entire tribe murdered, and he joined the New Mutants, who at that time were being led by Cable, to find out who was behind this slaughter. Well, New Mutants adapted into X-Force, and he stayed around. He joined the short-lived X-Corps and was stationed in Mumbai, India. Recently, within the last couple of years, he's had a resurgence in popularity. First joining the X-Men team, going off into space to find the rogue Summers brother called Vulcan, who would eventually become the Shi'ar Emperor. After that adventure in space, he returned back to Earth and joined the new X-Force to help eliminate the Purifiers. James and John both have very similar powers, and while John really didn't stick around enough to sort of fully develop his powers, John has managed to manage things that his brother never did. Now he's got heightened senses and obviously a great amount of strength and a reasonable amount of invulnerability. However, the one power that he's shown that John did not possess is the power of flight. Yes, he can fly, although it's really dubious. You don't see it a lot. More than one writer has made him fly. He's a pretty cool figure. I do have certain issues, mainly this gap here. I also have a problem with his wrist articulation. I do like the fact that they gave him a slight ankle pivot. That's it for now. And stay tuned for my next review, which will be on the other figure in this set, the Deadpool. And until then, see ya.